Hi, this is Alex, and today I'll be going over how to go over the test corrections after you get back your mock test. So you'll be given this link that we'll send you, and go to this link, you'll be brought to this page, SAT and ACT test corrections. On this page, click the File button at the top left, go to Make a Copy, and here delete the words copy of. Go to the end, draw a horizontal line. Horizontal line is shift with the slash button above the enter key. Horizontal line, and after this, type your name. So, for example, Alex Chang. And then another horizontal line followed by the test name, the name of the test that you just did. So perhaps it is, let's say, 2019-03 SAT 2019-03 US for the US version. Another horizontal line followed by the class that you're in. So for example, if you're in Sam's 9 a.m. class or Sam's A class, you type Sam A like that. Click OK, and you'll have a copy of that document in your Google Doc. Okay, once that's done, here in the second row, first field here, name, type in your name. So let's say Alex Chang. Test name is SAT 2019-03 US, and the class that you're in, Sam A. And below, this is where you'll type down for all the questions that you get wrong. You have to write down the section that the test is from, the question number, and answer all these questions. So for example, let me pull up a test here, 2019-03 US, so the North America version of the test. And so let's use grammar as let's use reading first as an example. If you get, let's say, question number 12 wrong, then you'll put down section number 1, number 12, your wrong answer. So write down your wrong answer. Let's say if you picked A as the wrong answer. Now to explain why you chose A originally. Was it because you think positive is equal to confident, so you chose A, or explain why you chose A? So perhaps, let's say here, the reason is I thought positive is a synonym of choice A, confidence. And why is that wrong? Maybe the reason that it's wrong is because I can't just choose the synonym as the answer. And the next question is, what is the right answer, and why is that answer correct? So let's say the answer is C. It's specific. Choice C, specific, because in line 11 there's a keyword. The keyword is blah blah blah. You type that out. And the last question is, what should you do next time to get questions like this correct? So here, if this is what you did, then your approach was wrong originally. You shouldn't choose an answer because it's a synonym. You should choose the answer because there are keywords in the passage. So perhaps for this, you write down, next time you should find keyword in the passage and not just choose a synonym. Okay, and so if it's reading, many reading questions are evidence-based. So your reasoning for why is that answer correct will very likely be because in a on a certain line, certain keywords tell you that the answer is the answer that you're choosing from. For the second, so for grammar parts, let me go to grammar. And grammar, let's say you got number 4 wrong. So section number 2, number 4 wrong. And let me take a look. Number 4 here, further heating resulting in extremely thin microsheets of carbon that could be made into. So here it doesn't really need a punctuation mark in the middle, but let's say you thought the answer is A, original one. No change with a comma here. That could be made. Then why did you choose the answer originally? Maybe you thought that the sentence should be broken into two parts. And why is that incorrect? Because the sentence should not be broken into two parts. In fact, here, the first part of the sentence is further heating resulted. There is subject and verb. Second part is that could be made. The word that becomes a subject if there's a comma. So then choice A would become a run-on. So why is that wrong? It's wrong because A is a run-on. And be a little bit more clear on why it's a run-on. So the subjects and verbs are heating resulted, and the second part is that could be made. Okay, and what is the right answer? The right answer is without a punctuation mark in the middle. The right answer is C, because why don't you need a punctuation mark? There's really no need for a punctuation mark. The second part is a modifier that could be made into battery anodes, and that describes carbon. C, because it doesn't need a comma, and the modifier describes carbon. And if you made that mistake, then you probably need to review the different purposes of a comma. So what should you do next time? You should make sure I know the different ways of using a comma. Because using a comma, there are 5 different ways of using a comma in our grammar workbook. To put that down, and so on and so forth. If it's a grammar question, you need to explain why the wrong choices are wrong. It's kind of hard to explain why the right choice is right because the grammar is just right. So perhaps you might need to go through the other choices and explain why the other ones are wrong. Whereas for the reading questions, you explain why your right answer is right because of certain evidence from the text. And for math, many questions are conceptual. So if you choose an easy math question here, let's say you're doing number 5 here, so section 3, and you have to do this for questions that you get wrong and for questions that you didn't do, questions that you omit. So number 3, question 5, and let's say you didn't choose an answer. Why didn't you choose an answer? Maybe you ran out of time. And why is this approach incorrect? Well, if you run out of time, then you ran out of time, so not available. Nothing to talk about. And what is the right answer? The right answer here is, and you have to think about how to do these kind of math questions in the future. So we talked about in math point 1 that a question like this, since it tells you what is the value of f of -1, you just plug in -1 into the question. So plug in -1, you get f of -1. So this is negative. I'll write down the answers here, write down the steps here. So here you have, let me change that to red. -1 to the 3rd power, that's -1, plus the second part is this is 1, 3 times 1, so that's 3, minus -6, so that's plus 6, and then minus 1, and you do the calculation of that. So there are 2 pluses, 3 plus 6 is 9, and there are 2 minuses, -2, so 9 minus 2 is 7, so the answer is C. The answer is C, and why is it correct? Because of this. Because -1 plus 3 plus 6 minus 1 equals 7. And what should you do next time for getting these kind of questions right? Since this is a plug-in and check question, next time you should remember math point 1. Remember to plug and check. Okay. And you do that for all the questions that you make a mistake on. And if there's a question that you don't know how to fix it, you don't know what the right answer is, then leave that for discussion later on. When you're done with this, go over this with a classmate and help each other out for the questions that they don't know. And when you guys are done with this, then you can go over the test as a whole with the teaching assistant. Hopefully that's clear. If you have any questions, just ask us. We are here to help. And I'll talk to you next time. Goodbye.